Throughout world history, many glorious empires have emerged, such as the Persian Empire and the Ottoman Empire. Empires are generally defined as vast territories ruled or dominated by powerful nations with immense international influence. Although there is no precise scientific definition of empire, one fact is indisputable. These renowned empires were all established through military expansion. Due to the distant past and a lack of detailed statistics at the time, the numbers of troops, casualties, and deaths in imperial conquest wars are mostly unrecorded, except for a few documented cases. However, it is an undeniable truth that ancient wars, as battles of weaponry, were waged on the foundation of blood and corpses. One general success comes at the cost of thousands of lives. Today, we can only rely on our imagination to revisit the brutality of these wars and mourn the countless individuals who perished in conquest. The conquests of the Assyrian Empire, beginning with the reign of Ashurnasirpal II, 883 to 859 BC, were notorious for their barbarity and cruelty. According to records from Assyrian kings, wherever their armies went, towns were reduced to ruins, wealth was plundered, civilians were massacred or enslaved, vast lands were left desolate, and populations were sharply reduced. Ashurnasirpal II even boasted in inscriptions, "I filled valleys with the corpses of my enemies until they reached the mountain peaks. I adorned city walls with their severed heads. I burned their homes. I covered city gates with the skins of rebels and walled some of them alive, while others were impaled on stakes." Under Sennacherib, 704 to 681 BC, the Assyrians destroyed 75 cities, including Babylon, looting their inhabitants and wealth. Sargon II, 722 to 705 BCE, also captured and looted tens of thousands of people and vast riches during his numerous campaigns to consolidate Assyrian rule. The Persian Empire, the first ancient empire to span Asia, Africa, and Europe, was built through the conquest policies of Cyrus the Great and his successors. This empire's expansion came at the cost of countless lives. For example, Xerxes, during his campaign against Greece in 480 BCE, led a massive force of nearly 100,000 naval troops, 300,000 infantry, and 20,000 cavalry across the Dardanelles using a pontoon bridge. Despite their overwhelming numbers, the Persian forces suffered devastating defeats at Salamis, Plataea, and Mycale, with only about 3,000 survivors. Most Persian soldiers perished in battle. A startling historical phenomenon is that many ancient empires won over more advanced civilizations through sheer military superiority, making these wars extraordinarily brutal. The Macedonian kingdom, which succeeded the Persian Empire, exemplifies this. Despite being less developed than Greece in terms of civilization, Philip II transformed Macedonia into a military powerhouse through reforms and conquered neighboring states. Under the pretense of opposing the Persian Empire, Greek city-states allied with Macedonia, only to find themselves dominated by it. When Alexander the Great ascended to the throne at the age of 20, he had already demonstrated extraordinary abilities as a conqueror. He swiftly quelled rebellions after Philip's death and destroyed Thebes, enslaving its residents. After stabilizing the region, he turned his attention to the Persian Empire. In the spring of 334 BCE, Alexander led 35,000 cavalry and infantry eastward to invade. When he confronted Persian king Darius III, the latter fled in fear, leaving his 160,000-strong army to be completely defeated by the Macedonian forces. In Tyre, Phoenicia, Alexander encountered the strongest resistance of his campaigns. After 7 months of grueling battle, he finally captured the city. However, he carried out a brutal massacre, killing about 8,000 people and selling over 30,000 into slavery. This atrocity even struck fear among many Macedonian soldiers. Upon leaving Tyre, he ordered the city to be burned to the ground. In the summer of 331 BCE, Alexander's army engaged Persian forces near Nineveh. Despite having only 40,000 infantry and 7,000 cavalry, Alexander's surprise tactics again routed Darius III's massive army. Darius fled the battlefield once more, pursued by Alexander for over 50 kilometers. Darius eventually retreated to the Median capital of Ecbatana with just 3,000 cavalry and 6,000 infantry, leaving the rest either dead or captured. By the summer of 330 BCE, Alexander had fully conquered the Persian Empire, earning titles such as King of Persia, King of Asia, and King of Kings. He continued to campaign in Central and South Asia. Within his short 33 years of life, Alexander spent 12 years waging wars, establishing a vast empire spanning Europe, Asia, and Africa. This empire extended from Greece in the west to the Indus River in the east, the Nile River in the south, and the Danube River in the north. Alexander's empire was built upon countless lives, with victory accompanied by endless wars and disasters. After the Persian Empire and Macedonian Kingdom, many vast empires emerged across Eurasia, such as the Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire, Arab Empire, Mongol Empire, and Ottoman Empire. These empires established unprecedentedly powerful territories through invasions and conquests. Though these conquest wars brought glory to their rulers, they inflicted profound suffering on the subjugated peoples. Cities were reduced to ruins, civilians massacred, productivity destroyed, and civilizations trampled by barbarism. Yet, these empires built through military conquest ultimately succumbed to decline. After reaching their zenith, they gradually fell into turmoil and disappeared into the annals of history.